Good morning, everyone. I think we are live now. Sorry about that. I was due on at 8:35, but we've had a few technical issues. I couldn't get live on my desktop, but we're live now, so that's good. So let's do what we always do. Let's go with the indices first. So let's go and have a look at the US indices. So we're going to go and look at the Dow, Nasdaq, but we'll start with the S&P. So S&P's come back. You can see it's still hovering around this resistance level. So if we go back to the weekly, what you'll notice on the weekly is we came in, tested the level, went higher, had a small candle close below. So a little inside bar here, a little bit of a pin. So we had both these two candles showing a wick at the top. But at the moment, price has bounced back a little bit. So we're Wednesday, middle of the week. So we'll see what that weekly candle does. But we're really just crisscrossing this level. So some of us are still short this particular market. We're still short. I'll show you where we are on the 4 hours. So we got in on this. I'm just going to put in the moving averages. So we were in on this around this level. So been sitting in this for a while now, which is what it is. Nothing I can do about that. So at the moment, market going sideways. My stop is above the high. So if I'm taken out of this trade, then it will be on a break of this high. But at the moment, nothing to do other than sit in here. So in terms of areas and zones, so regardless of whether I was in a trade on the S&P or not, what would I be looking at? Well, I'd be looking at momentum-based trades if we were to take this high out. And obviously I'm in a reversal. Momentum short would have to be below the sideways move. So we're building a sideways move here. So as I was saying last week, if I was an intraday trader on this market, then I would consider reversals down here. But the move is not big enough for me to look at a swing trade reversal there. The reason I've taken a reversal up here is because of the move up into that level. So at the moment, price isn't doing what we want to do, but that is what it is. As I said, if we break these highs, then I would be looking for momentum trades, and we've got clean air all the way there. If we come down from this level, then I'm in my reversal trade, and then I wouldn't look to do anything until we were below this area of short-term support that we've put in there. All right, so that's the S&P. Quick comparison to the Dow. So I'll just go and have a little look at the Dow so we can see exactly where that is. We'll go Nasdaq first. No, Dow. There we go. So we'll pull up the Dow, see what's going on in relation. Probably again similar price action. So you can see Dow's just leading the S&P there. Similar price action, crisscrossing its previous resistance, but we have gone a little bit higher. So we're hovering around those highs. So same idea with the Dow. If we were to get strong move above this level, then I would look for momentum higher up. But again, any momentum trades would be below that area of support from October and what we got there, September. But you've also got these lows just here. So I'd want to get out of that range if I was looking for momentum trades short. So nothing happening there. Now, interestingly enough, we've mentioned this the last couple of times I've done this. The NASDAQ a little bit behind the other two indices. Now, normally the Nasdaq will be leading the other two indices. So very often, if you're coming up to a high or you've broken a level of resistance or support, the Nasdaq is often ahead of the other two. But in this scenario, the Nasdaq's actually lagging a little bit. So again, we'll see where we are. Very interesting times, obviously, with what's going on in the States. We've got everything going on about the vaccine. We're still in this uncertain phase, but there's light at the end of the tunnel, and potentially maybe the sideways moves in the market are reflecting that. Again, could be a little bit of a correlation, but not necessarily a causation. We were talking about this in the room last night. So let's go and have a little look at the DAX, see what the DAX is in comparison. So Kerry's DAX traders have had some good runs, some good intraday moves. So her DAX day traders have had some good intraday moves. It's been a lot quieter over the last few days. You can see, well, last couple of weeks, the ranges have got a lot smaller. So you can see the ranges, difference between the highs and lows on those candles have got a lot smaller, and you can see a lot of indecision. So wicks either side of that. So not as many intraday opportunities. From a swing trading point of view, for me, this is really simple. There's not a lot of room between where we are here, the previous highs from August, and then what you've got is the all-time highs here from February. So for me on DAX, I would be looking for price to get back up to this level. And if we got up there, then that could present us with reversal opportunities. If price wanted to break higher and show that it wanted to go higher, then that could create momentum long opportunities. But this little area here, makes it difficult to pull a trade. So if I just go to the daily, for me, I would want to have, well, I'd have to be below the lows of October. So this area here, if I was then looking for any kind of momentum trade short. So yes, I'd consider a reversal reaction at that level, but momentum shorts would have to be below that level. So personally for me, I wouldn't have a lot going on between here and here. But once we were below this level, then I'd be looking for moves down there. So we'll have to see what it does. But again, similar to the US indices where we're seeing price in this little sideways move, slightly below the resistance on the DAX and slightly above on the US indices. So over to oil. Let's see what oil's doing. Now oil has come in and retested these previous highs. Now again, potential intraday reversals for some of our traders, but price has actually gone higher. We didn't have a swing trade reversal up at these highs because although it's a retest of the highs, the move isn't really significant enough. We were looking here much further up. So looking at the 2020 highs on oil, which is this resistance zone here. So what we do have now on oil is potential clean air up to this level. In fact, on oil, there is a little area of previous support which you're going to see come in. So you're going to see a little white line come in there. So if I now go and show you the weekly chart, you can see those prior lows just here I've highlighted in. Now, this is important. I wouldn't consider a reversal at these lows. I would want the reversal up at the previous resistance. However, if I was going to trade with this current move, then I would want to either be in the breakout trade and looking to move my stop or get out of the trade at those previous lows. Or if I was looking for a momentum trade, I'd actually want to be above that level and be trading up towards that level. So for me, this little window here, there is potential here, but it depends on what the price action is on slightly lower time frames. And then I would use those lows, as I said, as a target area, and then if we go above it, then I would look for momentum trades up to here. So reversals up here, momentum in that little gap, and possibly momentum here up to that level. But I would want to do something with my stop, either move my stop, take half profits, or do something at that level there. To the downside, similar scenario with oil is nothing in this little window here. The intraday guys might look for a reaction at that point, but for me, I'd need to be below these lows and then looking for momentum in that direction. All right, so that's there. Gold. So our gold traders, well, I think this is the lesson for today. The lesson for today's video is patience pays off. So our guys in the room who took the gold trade, their entry, as you know, was here. Took a bit of heat, then they had this big downward move. Then price has gone sideways. Look, they've spent all of that time waiting for price to get down to these lows. Price didn't make it there, almost got it on that day there, didn't make it there. That's where you got to hold your nerve. Patience and discipline. And go on and on about this over and over and over again. And we talk about this in the room. Is you've got to install patience, but you've also got to install discipline. The longer that you're in a trade, especially if price keeps nudging towards your target, it's very easy in those scenarios to get out too soon, or as price gets close to the level, which you can see on this candle here on this day, and then it starts to move up. The temptation is, I've been in it for a long while, I want to get something out of it, and you get out of the trade right there, and you take maybe 2/3 of the profit you could, and then look, next day price rolls over and hits your target. So that's a classic example of why patience is so important, and that's why we talk about this in our room, and we focus on making sure people are really adhering to that. So the more you can have the discipline, it's not about the fact the trade won, it's about the fact that the trade was essentially teasing you by getting close to the level, and it's the fact that you stuck to your rules regardless. It's better you stick to your rules, and in that scenario price came up and ended up being a loser. It's better you stick to your rules and that happens, because then you're more likely to stick to your rules when it does what it's done here and roll over and hit the level. All right. So that's where we are. A couple of other potential trading opportunities for us. I'm going to go to pound US dollar because that is one that we have got at the moment on our radar. So we'll go and have a little look at that. And what you'll see is we've got a recent high, that's from September, that you can see that there. But you'll see the resistance that I've got in there is, just pull this up, I'll go to the weekly chart. You'll see on the weekly chart, we're looking at the 2019 highs, and there you've got the 2020 highs. So you've got a little bit of a zone here. So at the moment, what we're looking for is price to get into that area there. Some of our momentum traders had a lovely little entry there, a little breakout momentum trade right here. That's one of the strategies that we teach on our Kickstart training. So a little momentum break there, and you can see price went up, came back down, so they went into a losing position. That's where you have to hold your nerve, and now they're tracking this up. And what's interesting is their target is just below those previous highs. So their target is in here, and then the reversal traders, which is me and some of the other guys, we will be looking for a potential setup at the 2020, 2019 highs, that little zone that you've got there. Okay, I'm going to call it a day. Just to remind you, we've got our last webinar. We're doing a webinar for traders with experience on Thursday. So we've got our last webinar, last free webinar, I should say, of 2020. So we've got a couple of spaces left. So if you want to register for that, make sure you head to the website. You'll see the link on your dashboard. For those of you that are members, we'll be sending an email out on that. We're currently almost full on our January Kickstart. So if that's something that you want to do, message us, DM us, get in touch with us, and we can send you the detail. We've only got a few spaces left. We can't have tons and tons of people on that because myself and Kerry work closely with you during that 28-day period. So if that interests you, DM us, message us, get in touch with us, email us, find a way to get in touch with us, and we'll get you the details. Because if you want to do that and don't want to miss out, we've only got, I think, 4 spaces left before we close that off, and that's for January. That's 13th of January. That is our next 28-day kickstart. All right, guys, I'm going to head off. Hope that was useful. I will catch up with you soon.